Hey, third graders, it's Miss Hensley back with some more vocabulary. This unit, Unit 2, is a science unit. So we have science vocabulary to learn today. Our last unit was a social studies unit, so we had social studies and academic vocabulary. This unit will have science vocabulary and academic vocabulary. So today we're going to start off with science vocabulary. As you can see, we have our standard here. It's L for language, 3 for third grade, .6, and L3.6 says basically, if I escape out here, you'll see, acquire and use accurately grade appropriate, conversational, general academic, and domain specific words and phrases, including those that signal spatial and temporal relationships. Okay, so it says basically that you're going to learn new words and use them appropriately. So if you remember, we always start off with saying our objectives. I'm going to say the objectives, and then when it's your turn, you will repeat after me. So, I can learn science vocabulary. Your turn. Okay, my turn. So, I can use scientific language in discussions and writing. Your turn. Right, my turn. I am successful when I write all of the vocabulary words and their definitions into my notebook. Your turn. All right, so today we're going to learn some domain-specific vocabulary. That means it belongs to a specific type of learning, and for us this time it'll be science. And the reason we want to learn that is so that we can use scientific language when we're talking, that's what discussions are, and when we're writing. And today, to be successful, you're going to want to write there's only 5 of them, all 5 of the words down in your handy dandy notebook. And make sure that you put the definition and the part of speech because you'll need that later in the week. All right. So, as you might recall from the last 2 times that we did this would be our 6th vocabulary. Let's see, we did 2 the first week, 2 the second week. So it's our 5th vocabulary lesson. So as each keyword appears, that's what our text calls vocabulary words. Each keyword appears, you're going to rate how well you know the word with your fingers. And you don't have to do it with your fingers if you don't want. If you feel silly putting your fingers up, you can just say it to yourself, or you could write it down in your notebook. So that would remind you of where you started off with. 1, I know that word very well. I can define it right now for you. I don't even need you to put up the definition. 2, I know the word a little. I've read it before, or maybe I've heard it before, but I'm not sure I could tell you exactly what it means. Or 3, never heard the word before in my life. You're making things up, you crazy, crazy woman. Okay? So 1, 2, or 3, how well do you know it? And then you're going to write the word. You don't have to write the pronunciation key if you don't want to, but definitely get the part of speech and put the definition in your notebook. And you can pause the video each time while you write so that you aren't rushed. Take your time. Do it at your pace, okay? Let's go with the first word. Remember, you're going to rate it. How do you feel about amount? Do you know it well? Is that a 1? Could you tell me what the definition is? Have you heard it before? Maybe you know it a little bit. You've heard the word amount before, or you've read amount in a book or a magazine or on a website. Maybe 3, you've never heard the word at all. 1, 2, or 3, give yourself a rating. All right, and amount, 2 syllables here, amount, and mount is the syllable that is stressed. We can tell because it's in bold. Amount is a noun. That's the part of speech. It's a person, place, or thing, and it means a quantity of something. Amount, 2 syllables. Noun, meaning a quantity of something. Please write that down in your notebook. And I'll give you a little example here. The sport gives an enormous amount of pleasure to many people. Okay? I know a lot of you probably like soccer, so hopefully it gives you an enormous amount of pleasure. All right, if you need more time for amount, please pause the video. We're going to move on to the next word. All right, you ready for this? Behavior. How well do you know behavior? Is that a 1? I know it very well. I could define it. A 2, I've heard it before. Maybe I've read it before. Or 3, I have no idea what you're talking about. I've never heard behavior before. Okay, behavior. How well do you know it? Rate yourself. Behavior. Behavior. There's a little dash over the top of the A to make you know that it's a long A sound. It's saying its name. It's 3 syllables. Behavior. Okay? And the stress is on the middle syllable because it's bolded. Behavior is a noun, and it means the way a person acts. Okay? Behavior. A noun meaning the way a person acts. Write that down in your notebook. And here's our example sentence. Her bad behavior got her into trouble. Clearly, that is not something we ever hope to see. Her bad behavior got her in trouble. All right, go ahead and pause the video here. Resume when you're ready. Take your time writing down behavior, noun, the way a person acts. Our next word up is decrease. Decrease, okay? Decrease, 2 syllables, decrease. You can see E as the dash over the top, it's a long E sound. Decrease, crease has the emphasis, is a verb. That means it's an action word, and it means to become less or smaller. Okay? Decrease, verb, to become less or smaller. Here's your sample. When I spend money, my savings decrease, right? When I spend money, the amount of money I have saved gets smaller or becomes less. Decrease. Okay? If you need more time for decrease, go ahead and pause the video here. We'll move on to the next word. All right, our next word, get ready, those fingers ready, or write a little note in your notebook on how you feel about this word. The word is increase. Increase. How well do you know increase? Is that a 1, a 2, or a 3? Increase. Increase is also a verb. It's an action word, and it means to become or make greater in size. It's kind of the opposite of decrease. Decrease is to become smaller or less. Increase is to become or make greater in size. So you're going to write that in your notebook. Increase, verb, to become or make greater in size. So here's our sample sentence. When I save money, my savings increase, right? So when I don't spend money, when I get money and I save it, then I have more money saved. My amount of savings gets bigger in size. All right, pause the video if you need more time for increase. We're going to go ahead and move on. This is our last word. How do you feel about it? How well do you know? Supply. Supply. 1, I know it well. I could define it right now. 2, I kind of know it. I've read it before maybe. Or 3, I have no idea what you're talking about. Supply. A supply, 2 syllables, is a verb, right? So there's a noun form of supply as well, but we're talking about the verb form of supply, which means to provide things people need. So if I supply you with something, I am providing things that you need, okay? There is a noun form of supply, but we're talking about the verb form, the action word form of supply this time. So farms supply us with vegetables, such as lettuce, right? Supply, they're doing an action, right? Farms supply us with vegetables such as lettuce. All right, that's our last word for today. I'll be back tomorrow with 5 more words for you. If you need more time, like I said, pause the video, rewind the video, do whatever you need with the video. It's here for you. Till tomorrow, bye.